वेलकम टू द फ्यूचर पेन स्पेशलिस्ट। अगर आप पेन मेडिसिन में अपना करियर स्टार्ट करने की सोच रहे हैं और समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कहाँ से शुरू करें, तो ये वीडियो आप ही के लिए है। मैं डॉक्टर आमोद एक पेन स्पेशलिस्ट हूँ। मैं इंटरनेशनल पेन सेंटर पे काम करता हूँ और साथ ही साथ मैं मैक्स हॉस्पिटल में भी काम करता हूँ, जहाँ का पेन फेलोशिप प्रोग्राम मैं उसका मेंटर हूँ। और मेरे साथ हैं आज डॉक्टर शिफाली। शी इज़ अ बडिंग पेन physician who's halfway through her training, and I thought having her here would give us a different perspective from a trainee's point of view. Choosing the right pain fellowship is a crucial part in your career journey, and let's dive in and see if we can help you with this. So starting with the key points, some important points which I want to highlight, जो मेरे को देखने में मिला है, बहुत सारे लोग अपने पेन करियर पाथवे में इसलिए प्रोग्रेस नहीं कर पाते हैं क्योंकि वो जो इस काम के लिए एफर्ट चाहिए उसको बहुत अंडर एस्टिमेट कर लेते हैं। वो सोचते हैं कि ये एक पार्ट टाइम जॉब है जो कि कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस से या खाली ऑब्जर्वरशिप से देख करके कुछ महीनों में हम सीख लेंगे क्योंकि हमने ये काम जिंदगी भर देखा है या हमें इस काम के बारे में आइडिया है। सो आई मस्ट टेल यू माई फ्रेंड्स, यू आर एब्सोल्युटली रॉन्ग एंड दैट्स द बिगेस्ट पिटफॉल which you will encounter because you have not prepared yourself sufficiently for taking up this challenge. पेन मेडिसिन बहुत वास्ट है और इसके लिए जो एफर्ट लगाना पड़ता है वो भी बहुत वास्ट है। आपको बहुत हार्ड वर्क डालना पड़ेगा और ये जो लर्निंग है ये कंटिन्यूड रहती है, पूरी जिंदगी खत्म नहीं होती है। अगर आप सोचते हैं कि एनेस्थीसिया के लिए आपको 3 साल चाहिए या 2 साल चाहिए, तो ये उससे काफ़ी वास्ट है। ये मेरा अपना पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है। एक और अहम बात, ये जो पेन मेडिसिन की ब्रांच है ये सिर्फ एनेस्थेटिस्ट के लिए नहीं है। मेरे अपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस में बहुत सारे जीपीज, बहुत सारे ऑर्थोपेडिक डॉक्टर्स, न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट, रिहैब कंसल्टेंट, स्पोर्ट्स मेडिसिन स्पेशलिस्ट, ऑल ऑफ देम आर इनटू दिस फील्ड। सो let's hear what Dr. Shefali has to say about this. What are your views about the key points I've mentioned, Dr. Shefali?
Hi everyone. So my personal experience has been that pain management itself is a very vast subject, and depending on what background you're from, it can take time to for the transition to happen. As I was from an anesthesia background, so for me the transition took some time. It took me some time to get oriented to the subject, to get oriented to the concept of pain management. And what I realized, what I felt was that I was back in my first year in terms of my learning, in terms of the amount of new kind of knowledge that was that I had experienced. And what I also felt was that it is and it is also not an extended branch of anesthesia. Personally, I felt that it is a little bit extension, but most of it is completely new and not an extended branch of anesthesia.
Thank you for that input, Dr. Shefali. So हम आगे बात करते हैं क्या क्या फैक्टर्स एक आदमी को कंसिडर करने चाहिए बिफोर ही और शी डिसाइड्स व्हाट pain fellowship I should consider. So let's make a list in the order of priority. So first thing is what model of training it is and how long it is. So what are the different models available? It can be full-time, it can be part-time, it can be in-person, one-to-one, or it can be online. And there are different hybrid models which are available as well. So मेरा जो personal view है इसके बारे में वो ये है कि in-person training is always better. And you need at least 1 year to get a grasp of the subject. Now, if that is not possible for whatever reasons, then less than 6 months is not sufficient. I think you have to give it 6 months or more, and preferably 1 year. The second thing which I want to emphasize is that doing full-time pain is important. If you're doing it mixed with anesthesia, it is not the same. जब आप फुल टाइम ये काम करेंगे तो आपकी प्रायोरिटीज, आपका जो डेवलपमेंट है, इट इज़ वेरी वेरी डिफरेंट कंपेयर टू व्हेन यू आर डूइंग एनेस्थीसिया साथ में, बिकॉज उतना टाइम नहीं लगा पाते हैं। अगर हम बात करें ऑनलाइन मॉडल सप्लीमेंटेड बाय इन पर्सन ट्रेनिंग सेशंस, नाउ दीज कैन बी ओके बट they are not ideal. I mean, like your personal circumstances might force you to select this model, but they are far from ideal is what my opinion is. अगर हम बात करें ऑब्जर्वरशिप की, तो अगर तो आप 0 से शुरू कर रहे हैं तो दिस इज नॉट इनफ। हाँ, लेकिन अगर आप एक स्किल्ड पेन फिजिशियन हैं या आप कोई हायर स्किल्स या कोई स्पेसिफिक स्किल्स सीखना चाह रहे हैं, आपको बेसिक्स में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, तो दैट फॉर दैट specific purpose observership can be quite useful. अगर हम बात करें कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस की तो मैं सिंपल सी बात ये बोलूँगा, क्या आप एनेस्थीसिया कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस से सीख सकते हैं? It is not a job of correspondence. It is not something which is sufficient to be done just on online courses. And I don't think you will be doing justice to this branch. And as I said before, if you're not giving it adequate importance and time, becoming successful can be quite challenging. So let's hear what Dr. Shefali has to say halfway through her training and what her views are about these issues which I've just highlighted.
So in 4 months of my training, I have almost have 900 entries in my logbook, and halfway through it, I realized that how 6 months are not enough for this training, and how it's a role of multitasking where I'm reading, I'm listening to the patient, I'm analyzing, then I'm interpreting, I'm documenting, and making a further plan of management as well. So in person, every patient is different. It is going only knowing the theory of pain medicine is not going to be enough. How I need to improvise and learn interpersonal skills, learn expectation management of patients, and I have to grasp the concepts and how to apply them are all essential skills that can be learned only in person. And also other aspects like fluoroscopy and reading of MRIs, procedural skills are also going to take a lot of time. So 6 months would definitely not be enough.
And what do you feel about the in-person training versus the online? Did you try any of those models before?
I have not tried the online model, but in-person training I had joined for 6 months, but halfway through it I realized that it's going to be not enough. It's not going to be enough, and it's going to take much longer than a year actually.
I'm glad you feel the same way as I had just said.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the second point. So the next step when you're selecting a fellowship program is accreditation. मतलब आपको प्रोग्राम खत्म करने के बाद क्या डिग्री मिलेगी, क्योंकि उसकी बहुत वैल्यू है. सिर्फ मेडिको लीगल एस्पेक्ट्स में उसकी वैल्यू नहीं है, बल्कि और भी उसके बहुत सारे implications हैं. आपको जॉब प्रोग्रेस, करियर प्रोग्रेस, उन सब चीज़ों में इसका इम्पैक्ट आ सकता है. So, in my opinion, I trained in international fellowship which had an end-of exam. I think a comprehensive international fellowship with an end-of exam is probably my preferred approach. Now, that is not putting down any of the national or other fellowship programs, but the accreditation which we get from such an established program which has been there for a long time is valued more and is considered superior when you're applying for jobs or when you're applying for other competitive positions. There are other options as well, and India is far progressing very quickly, and I'm very happy to say that. National board or central institution accredited qualifications हैं FNB की तरह, university affiliated national programs हैं जो which can also be considered. Then there are pain society affiliated programs and training posts which have an end-of exam. Besides these, there are individual institutions or individuals or hospitals which are offering fellowship programs. And if you are considering any of these, then it's best to complement it by standardized exams, so it puts you in a better frame of mind and gives you a stamp that you have done something which is equivalent to a pain fellowship and you are allowed to practice in this field and you are sufficiently experienced. इसके अलावा फेलोशिप प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं जो कि इंडिविजुअल सर्टिफिकेट्स के साथ में होते हैं, पेन के कोर्सेज होते हैं, ऑब्जर्वरशिप्स होती हैं. So I think these are all options which are there. But I think the short courses or just observerships, as I've said before, are only sufficient to increase your specific skills or complement your current skills and not to be considered as a standalone thing for giving you accreditation as a pain specialist. अगर आप कोई स्पेसिफिक चीज़ को इंक्रीज करना चाहते हैं जो एक प्रोसीजर है या अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है उसके लिए, तो उसके लिए ये जो ऑप्शंस हैं ये बहुत अच्छी हैं. ऐसे ही ऑब्जर्वरशिप की अगर हम बात करें, अगर आप ये डिसाइड करना चाहते हैं कि ये फील्ड मेरे लिए है या नहीं है, सो दैट ग्लिम्स यू गेट इनटू द पेन वर्ल्ड इज क्वाइट good with an observership, and you should definitely consider it if required. As I said before, I would like Dr. Shefali to tell me how her journey has been. जब उन्होंने फेलोशिप को सिलेक्ट करने का सोचा तो उन्होंने कैसे फाइनलाइज किया कि वो क्या करना चाहती है.
I wanted an opportunity where I can get comprehensive learning on all aspects of pain medicine, like acute pain, chronic pain, palliative care, physiotherapy, and MDT sessions. And clinical exposure was important for me, which I was going to get, and I was planning to top it up with a recognized exam.
So the next important point as per my list is institution. So the institution you select, what resources they've got, what specialities or departments they have got, are they running any other educational programs or not? Is it a standalone fellowship or are there any other similar fellowships which are running? What is the clinical environment? What is the work culture? What is the reputation of the institution? All these things are very important when you're selecting the institution. And I think it's equally important to give your long-term goals a priority over here, because let's say I want to work in a corporate sector and the institution I'm choosing is a corporate sector one. So that's very important because it gives me an exposure of what I'm planning in the long term. So select the institution carefully, and let's hear from Dr. Shefali what made her select the institution she selected.
So personally, I have never worked in a corporate hospital, so I wanted that exposure. I wanted to experience how it is, and I wanted my geographical preference was either Delhi. It was Delhi or Mumbai, so it was matching my geographical preference as well. And name of the institution was also an important factor.
So the fourth point in my list is the curriculum. When you look at the curriculum, you can get an insight into what's going to happen. And this is where I think most trainees do not focus on. Because if it's a structured curriculum with broad range of topics being covered, like chronic pain, acute pain, all those things, postings into other relevant departments, palliative care, all those things, if they are covered in that, separate time for interventions, which are whether ultrasound guided or fluoroscopy guided, then separate dedicated teaching time. When you look at the curriculum, that gives you an insight. If it's a cut and paste job which has been done, you can easily make that out, and that's where it's a reflection into what's going to happen on the other side. So don't ignore this fact, and I think it's very important to be looking at this as to what you're going to be getting when you're actually in that place or that institution. So Dr. Shefali, your views, what do you think about this?
So I did not look at the curriculum before joining the fellowship, but I need whatever information required for the fellowship, I got it while giving the interview for the...
So you specifically probed into the issues?
Yeah. Okay. I specifically asked questions which were relevant for me while taking up this fellowship, and I got the answers to them before joining.
So the next important point on my list is the faculty who will be teaching you or the mentor who will be supervising you. In my opinion, having multiple people is always better because they all bring different things to the table and they might have their own specialist interests, which gives you the best opportunity for learning. And the more diverse the faculty is, the more you have a chance of picking up the best from each of them. Also, if the faculty has a passion for teaching and a commitment, that also goes very positively in motivating the trainee in terms of pursuing the career and achieving what they want. Now, it's important that the faculty is able to offer you all range of experience, whether that be fluoroscopic guiding interventions or ultrasound guided interventions, or whether that be different aspects of pain, cancer, palliative, rheumatological, regenerative. So the field is very vast, and the more number of people who can kind of contribute to the development of the trainee, the better it is. Now, it's not just the training, but also you have to look at the wholesome development of personality, the research opportunities, the publications, and how you groom as a pain physician. That's very, very important. And another thing which you may want to consider is the reputation of your mentor with his previous trainees or other medical professionals. That can also give you an insight into whether you want to pursue it or not. So Shefali, did any of these points matter for you when you decided what fellowship you were taking?
Yeah, so I wanted to get trained under a mentor who can give me a comprehensive learning of all aspects. And also one important thing that was important for me was 1:1 ratio of a mentor and a fellow, which I got in my fellowship.
Okay, so I take your point, Shifali. For certain people, having multiple faculties might be more important, and for others, getting that one-to-one attention individualized might be very important. Yeah, but that's a good valid point. Okay, so moving on to the next point in my list, it's about personal factors. Shifali's already mentioned the geographical preferences which one may have, for personal commitments or because of the lifestyle or culture or climate. There could be lots of reasons behind that. Apart from that, there could be aspect of work-life balance, which means how long are you working for, in whether the fellowship you are taking is in liaison with your long-term goals, which we talked about previously, like a job you can be offered at the end of it. There could be financial considerations, like what are the living expenses. So all these things are, I would put them as under the heading of personal factors, which can vary from one individual to another, making one fellowship more lucrative than the other one. So Shifali, any views on this one?
And also I had some financial considerations and this was suiting me well, so I went ahead with it.
Great. So I think we've mentioned all these points very briefly, but I hope it will make you think about what you are doing. If you need any guidance, feel free to contact me. I'll put my contact details down below, and feel free to approach me. It might take some time for me to respond, but I will try and get back to you. So good luck with your pain journey, and thank you very much for listening to me.